You know, the one downside about using like this red panda as my personal face that you guys can see all the time and enjoy and bathe, and the downside is that all of you are probably like 14-year-olds who are wearing cat ears right now, so really it's a mixed bag scenario. So either way, welcome back everybody. I know it has been so ungodly busy around here. So sorry that I've been a bit late when it comes to actually reviewing the season, getting into all the nasty little details. For a fact here, I worked 12 hours yesterday. I am tired. I do not have stamina like that. Oh boy. Either way, welcome back. We're taking a look at the brand new Big Chase update here, at least with a couple of quirks that I have actually seen while perusing around here, and I was just getting a general overview of what you could expect in this lovely season. So first things first, let's go over the rewards. All of you are a big fan of rewards. What motivates you? So you can see here we actually do have a nice variety of free and paid for rewards that do come from actually paying for the $10 season here. Now, still haven't gone down the route of making it only a cosmetic season. One day, hopefully, they'll do that, but a red panda can only dream. Either way, though, still pretty standard stuff here. We got ourselves a nice little selection of backgrounds and portraits here to go ahead and play around with a nice little bit of lore bits, if you guys actually like that. Beyond that, we also have ourselves these pretty interesting crates here that come about, where it actually shows us these strategic reserves, and you get these for free too. So essentially, it just gives you a variety of parts here, or resources, that you then can go ahead, turn around and sell, or make a profit on. So kind of nice those actually come around here. You get to see 3 of them there. I think you get 3 of them here at level 12. And then you also get the epic variety here at level 29 that also probably contain higher odds, if I had to guess. Although I don't know what the odds are per se, so it could be a really great deal, could be a really bad deal. Who knows, but you still get a lot of them here. So a decent chance to earn a decent amount of resources, which probably is better than just giving everyone straight up a bunch of coins. Although, to be fair, they are still doing that for a lot of the paid tiers here. You get 100, 150, so 250, up again. So now we're up to, what, 400? And then we're up to 600. And then beyond that, do we need more? Yep, 800. 1,000. 1,000, 100. Yeah, then after that, you get an extra 20. At least it's no longer 25, so hopefully that's alright. But 1,000 coins if you manage to get this whole thing for the cost of the season, which I believe, yeah, it's still only $10. So still not terribly bad, but for a lot of people, that is still going to be an amazing deal when to compare something like this. So to get 1,000 coins here would cost you 2,000 of these quote-unquote cross crowns or whatever. So if you actually pump out your calculator here, because the range is between 15 cross crowns per dollar to 10 cross crowns at the absolute worst. So if you plug in here 200 divided by 15, just for the absolute best scenario, it is $13.33. So if you were to try to purchase the season and actually get all the coins, you actually make more than what's available on these. Still not as good of a value for like coin-wise if you just got a pack on sale for half off, but still one of the best deals in the game. It's probably the reason why the Crossout marketplaces on PC have been experiencing such dramatic hyperinflation when it comes to all of the cost of goods here. Beyond that, I got a couple of blueprints here for the Chamber ST workpiece. So not too bad, looks nice, very low to the ground, almost a drifting-esque wheel. As long as we got some coupons for the workbenches here. Although I wonder if they actually instituted the crafting prices or crafting timers for those again, because I know they disabled them for a little bit. Beyond that, we got the nice little iris here, going ahead and giving us the minimum 3.6x magnification to a 6x magnification just on the base magnification model. So if you come here and you press that shift key in the bottom, which you can't really see. So if you come over here, you do have a nice little option for the 1.8x optical zoom here. Not terribly beneficial because realistically a 1.8x zoom, especially on a larger monitor, doesn't really do a whole bunch, but if you're on a smaller monitor, maybe it can help at least maybe alleviate eye strain. But that iris is really going to help out with that. Beyond that, again, we got some more lovely logos here that do look pretty dang sick, I will say so. Definitely a very strong Eastern Asian influence. And it looks like we got the pure lid workpiece here, which is kind of funny because I don't think the pure lid is really utilized that much. It is not a very good rocket here for the most part. And then beyond that, got ourselves a nice camouflage paint here. Does look pretty dainty here if I do say so myself. Although it does look like it's already trading at a quite cheap value here. That's hilarious. Goes from, boop, 100 coins down, and there's more people selling it than even buying it. So definitely not a paint everyone cares about, but it's up there. Next, we got ourselves the Tempest here, which is a nice rapid-fire, sort of like Whirl Light version that's smaller, still fires at a consistent pace, not as fast, but is a bit more accurate, so it's decent at longer distances. Plus, I believe it does not have an actual perk itself, other than like its ability to fire, which I guess is great for an autocannon. Beyond that, got ourselves a jet fuel only build. Good little sticker here. Plus some actual Steppenwolf-esque parts here, the APC line of armor here. Definitely great for wheels here, because for a long time, Steppenwolf didn't really have this, so it's nice to get a little bit of aesthetic here. Got a short dark blue lamp, which actually, ironically enough, you could get from the Twitch drop events. Cheetah print here that, honestly, they call it stains. Looks more like cheetah print, to be honest. The actual blueprint to create the Tempest, although unfortunately, it looks like, again, it is a timed thing, so you know how I feel about that. Every time it's mentioned, I'm like, yep, that's... what a great way to introduce time lock content for something that should be a base feature in the game, but you know what? I digress. If I go on another 30-minute tangent again here, I'm going to get nothing but comments saying how Crossout is the worst game possible. It's like, no, it's not really the worst game possible. They just really shouldn't do this, but okay, you know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Ooh. Beyond that, we got ourselves the Forced Mimicry paint here, which doesn't look that bad. I'm not quite sure how it's Forced Mimicry, because it looks very, really honestly, looks a lot more industrial than anything. Beyond that, got ourselves here the Miller gun, a nice little sort of like Reaper little gun with the overheating mechanic. Doesn't seem to actually have any sort of, how should I say, ammo capacity to it whatsoever. So instead of having that, it just, well, takes time to overheat, which oddly enough probably makes it a bit more ideal for a lot of people, because while it doesn't have as much durability and hit points as something like the Reaper, the fact that it actually has no ammo capacity requirement, so it doesn't need to have the ammo pack slapped on top of it, probably makes it a lot more appealing. Beyond that, a nice little sticker here, very kawaii. I have no idea what it says. Nice little military service crates here, just to give you a little extra resources. The one nice thing about these, though, is the fact that you can get uranium, which I bet you if you do hit that lucky jackpot, ooh, it's going to be a big payday. Some more big cosmetic items here for your car. Although, honestly, the propensity of a lot of stickers here is a bit unusual, because a lot of the time, it's literally just text. Which is, you know, one thing, but having nothing but text is a bit eh. Nice little customizable logo, which gives me a Syndicate-esque vibe and almost JoJo-esque vibes for some reason. Next, the blueprint itself for the Miller, which doesn't seem terrible by it. Yeah, it's not too bad. Of course, it requires weapons that you need to get within the season itself, so it's gonna, like, kind of artificially increase the price, I imagine, per se. Who knows? Plus the fact that you have to do it in the season, too. Next, we got the CK for the Hoppy Cabin here. Very nice military-esque vehicle here. Still doesn't make the Hoppy Cabin able to haul really anything, but hey, you know what? Look at that. Now you get to look aggressive and kind of like a dog for some reason. Yeah, definitely gives me like some Greyhound vibes for some reason. Next, we got ourselves a nice little weird, unusual mirror kits here with lots of mirrors. How jazzy. From the left and right side. Kind of reminds me of those mirror kits you used to be able to buy off the customization store page here that you could actually buy here. To be fair, like a lot of these, it's just they're way too expensive for what they are. Next, we got ourselves a nice little ammo crate again. Nice little logo here. Does look a little more industrial. I do kind of like that one. I do like any sort of like splash of color. And then a background itself with more of that weird 80s like styrofoam cup-esque look to it. And then we got the dangerous Goggle. Not too shabby. The turret vault parts that actually look quite nice. Although the armor value on them is a bit eh, and they don't really cover a whole bunch, meaning only one cell high. But at least it's going to have a lot more compliance with a lot of parts, so it has some armor value, I suppose, able to shield some. Next, we have the CK for the small tracks here. Definitely does look really cool. I do like those almost rim-esque look inside the car, like it's meant to be a tire, but is now actually just a track in itself, which, honestly, it kind of does look like that. Like a car tire that's been modified into a track. Maybe they'll make that into an actual tire later on down the line. Beyond that, we got ourselves the actual Avalanche here. The beautiful gargantuan gun that can blow a hole in the side of anything. Oh, massive though, look at that. Nearly 1,600 points in durability. Only 10 ammunition though. 12 energy drain, but a mass that's only roughly around 3,000 with the 17% reduction here. Although I imagine its native is, yep, That actually is a pretty substantial decrease in mass, nearly 600 kilograms chopped off. It's great for a lot of armor. Beyond that, got the network, which honestly looks exactly like the logo back here. It looks exactly like this, except made into a sticker. I mean, I guess that's one way to reuse art assets. Same thing with the military reserve crates here. And then now we have the blue lamp, except long boy version. It's kind of funny that how they have so many of these dark blue lamps. 3 of the rewards are the same thing, but of different lengths. Which, okay, interesting. Another one of these little Robo-Dog-esque CKs for the Bastion cabin, which, oddly enough, I still have not played with at all. I should really get onto that at some point. Next, we got ourselves a little bit of coinage here. Then we finally got ourselves the actual Syndicate Janabi here, if you like the actual drifting aspect of this game. Which, oddly enough, I imagine everyone has it, and no one uses it. The actual little blueprint here for the Avalanche, so nice for y'all to go ahead and try to do that, but considering how expensive that's going to be, yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's just going to immediately default to buying the Season Pass. Next, we got the Amatsui, or whatever the devil it's supposed to be called here, the CK for the Aurora, which, honestly, I do like it. It's supposed to give me Syndicate-esque vibes, but honestly, it also gives me more distinct Dawn Children's vibes, especially with the amount of radiators on the outside here that spin. It does look kind of jazzy. Beyond that, we got ourselves the Omari here, the shielding sort of version of the Averter here, with a lot more space and a lot more connection parts here. Oh yeah, you can slap a lot on that bad boy. Not bad. Got a nice little sticker here if you want to make your car very pink. I'll say, definitely going to be able to make your car like incredibly kawaii and super pink this entire season. A legendary stabilizer, the part that basically no one except whales in this game ever utilizes. Got some more coins here, and then the junk bone. Still have never utilized my work pieces to actually make this. I want to make it at some point. It's just, with how expensive it is, I really don't care for it. But it does seem like it'd be actually kind of fun to do. So, opportunity for you guys to go ahead and work on that. The temporary blueprints here as well. Again, you have to remember, all the blueprints of the season, all temporary. Yikes. Beyond that, get ourselves a $1,000 paint. Woo! It's hilarious. People are selling it for a couple of thousand, and the average price that's being sold is roughly around the 200 range. Hilarious. No one is wanting to buy this. Probably because the only people who actually have this are the whales that bought every single level of the season already. Which seems weird. Kind of reminds me of those people who would buy the season rewards in Dota 2. Despite having like 500 levels or whatever. Next, we got the Heather here. Lovely rocket launcher here. The kind of alternate version of the howitzer. It's a lot faster, able to do a substantial more amount of damage if you're able to hit. Downside, got to be a lot more accurate with it. Next, we're going to sell the Mandrake, which, again, yeah, this is just the background logo. Yeah, it's literally just the same background logo, except tilted. Man, that is hilarious. They use the same art asset twice in every season. I mean, it's going to happen when you have a lot of levels and you have a short turnaround time. But dang. Yep, looks like we got some more storage expansion again, which, oddly enough, I had someone complain about this, saying that it was a waste of money to actually buy it previously now that the seasons are starting to give it out, which, yes and no. I mean, I still prefer items getting cheaper anyway than as to more expensive. Next, we got the Income. Nice little, I'm missing hologram if I had to guess. Oh, no, that's right, that's the hubcap. I'm not sure why it's an oval shape then. Next, we got ourselves the, whatever this is called again. This is the one that gives you bonus speed and power. Nice. Not really sure if people are going to be utilizing that on a cabin like this, but sure, you do you, boo-boo. Next, Space Glitch 2, which doesn't look that bad. What does it actually look like? Yeah, not bad. Still giving me, like, 80s retro vibes for, like, dinnerware or whatever. And then beyond that, looks like we got ourselves the Hoppy Cabin, the one that does a nice little purge for a car. Not too shabby looking, I will say so. I do like the more detailed interiors with that nice back glow. Ooh, sexy. Beyond that, we got ourselves a nice machine gun turrets that they can go ahead and utilize inside your own car. It looks like the paid version gives you basically double of what you get the base version. So you get a third, and then the other 2/3 are over here, which is not too bad. To be honest, you probably don't need more than like one at a time unless you're trying to test out some unusual function. Because honestly, this is really only utilizing for... Really, it's only good for testing. I'm not really sure what else it serves beyond that. Like, for me, great for testing. You, I have no idea. Next, the Yari CK. Ooh, beautiful, lovely, doubly CK for the Cyclone here. Nice sounding, excellent Shektra. Love it. Beyond that, we got ourselves the Sky Glitch, which honestly doesn't look as cool as the previous one, to be honest. The darker one looked better. Well, that's not bad either. Then the actual ability to go ahead and create the Kami. Nice. And then you get yourselves a nice little portrait here at the very end here, which, whatever he likes to do. So, very nice. The only downside, I would say here, for most of the season, really kind of extends to most seasons, that the increase in hyperinflation, the, I guess, really a large amount of content that's actually functional locked behind the time gate. That's really the only downside. But other than that, though, the increase in seasons and rewards they get from things like resources and coins, always nice for the player returning and trying to get the best bang for the dollar. Pretty much the only thing that anyone ever buys in this Crossout game. Very nice. I would also notice here on the crafting section, you actually can craft modified versions of the already existing parts here. The only thing you need is a bunch of resources and 2 of the legendary parts already. So a bit more expensive than the traditional fuse, but hey, at least you actually get yourself a beautiful modified, I guess, part here. If you don't want to buy the season per se, but you still want to actually have these good parts here, they'll still actually give you a fairly decent fuse here that you can utilize. Like for the Avalanche, it still gives you the mass, explosion rating, and projectile speed, which is all fantastic for this card. Beyond that, they also have the Chase here. Won't be able to do that today because honestly, I'm actually running out of time here and I probably need to go pretty soon. But I'll probably give you a review of it at some point in time, maybe a playthrough, see how it is. The only downside I would say about this is that, really, why is it a timed event? I thought it was going to be returning permanently, but nope, 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 nope. Anytime I see one of these events, I should always remind myself that these are only going to be temporary. But in this 24-day period, I wonder if the price of plastic is going to crash because it costs nothing to get into this mode. It is probably super easy to destroy with harvesters and melee builds. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen here. You can't utilize the Skinner in this mode to actually harpoon yourself to the convoy. But if you're just going to be utilizing a ramming vehicle, a harvester, I imagine you're probably going to be able to get through this thing uber quickly. So definitely be fun to see how this turns out. And other than that, though, I do appreciate that they have the elevated PS requirements here. But still, honestly, the fact that it's still lower PS requirements in the hard raid, while also being listed as a hard raid, is a bit concerning. Because I'm only just worried about people going in there with the minimum amount of cars and then immediately dying. But that's just me. But beyond that, we're going ahead and take a look at the brand new Co-Drrivers here too, which honestly do look pretty dang jazzy, I will say so myself. And I do kind of like the nice animated portraits for all of them. But it's pretty much exactly what we thought about earlier. They have done some slight modifications for it. So, for example here, Jay, we got 4 charges hitting an enemy at a distance of 80 meters. At least 3 seconds must pass between hits. But because of that, you can increase all damage by 7%, which is not too bad. It's pretty low, but hey, it's something. But definitely great for a lot of people who are actually into that sharpshooting thing. Honestly, Mind Bay Bay is going to be Grizzly here. After receiving 3 hits, 1 second in between them, then you actually get yourself a 30% reduction in damage for 4 seconds, which honestly, fantastic for a lot of cars here, especially mine, which tends to get peppered by a lot of machine gun fire. So this is going to be fantastic for me. That durability, that extra speed, that extra mass limit there. Oh, on this big boy, ooh, it's going to be muy bien. Definitely going to like this, especially on my cohort cabin build if I ever try that. Oh, that thing is not going to die at all. Beyond that, we also got the Yukuyi here, which does seem to have a nice little charge here. So, while behind the enemy at a distance of 35 meters, in the case that there's any multiple instances, it builds up faster, so more enemies, more fast. Kind of like the Cerberus cabin, but increases all damage by 15% here, so that's not that bad. So essentially, as long as you're behind, although I wonder what happens when you're like in front and behind. So if you pass somebody and there's actually someone looking behind while also looking at you, or what happens at an angle. So I'm kind of curious how the charge works on that as well. But probably should actually work pretty dang bad. But the fact is that you still get a little extra tonnage and movement part durability can help. But that damage type, ooh. I actually wonder if this would work on the Chase if you use the Harvester rammed in with the Ghost Cabin or the Howl Cabin and utilize that. I wonder how well that would work. Beyond that, we got ourselves the hitting enemy at 30 times a distance of 35 meters or more. The next shot activates a talent, which then increases the damage inflicted by the weapons by 25%, but also increases the damage received. So this Could definitely be really interesting for any of those that are really heavy into that machine gun fire. Like a lot of those that utilize the kind of Punisher gun here. Like, ooh, that could work out real nicely. Combining those two for like an extra 65% damage increase, that can be substantial. Throwing an aura on that too. Oh, and it doesn't seem to actually require perfect aiming. Like you can miss a couple of shots too. So really going to be easily able to activate that. Plus, I have no idea whether or not what the cooldown is on this too. So if you're pretty consistent, can you keep this up 24/7? That's a big question. So next we got Phobos here. The talent charges the players within 30 meters of an enemy armored car for 2 seconds, receiving damage blocks a charge for 4 seconds. So not too bad. But if you're able to be within a armored car pretty quickly, you can get yourself a lot of damage. The difference between, I think, this is that you have to be behind for this to activate, and you have to be not damaged for this to activate. Although I wonder if this applies if you also incidentally kind of like touch or ram into the vehicle. Does contact damage count in that regard? But definitely interesting. A lot more for the speed and a lot more for the invisibility aspect. So great for those sneaky builds. Beyond that here, we got ourselves a nice little turret boy here, which gives ourselves the ability to go ahead and charge up while in close proximity to place down turrets and drones. The wheeled drones, I believe, don't affect this. Or sorry, I should say flying drones are not affected by this. So as long as you're around those, then you can activate this. But essentially increases the damage of them by 20% while within a radius around them of 35 meters. So you got to be pretty dang close for this to actually occur. If you don't know what 35 meters looks like, if you go up here to this nice lovely white line in your garage, if you haven't modified it. So about right here is, between that and that is 50 meters. So somewhere around that mark is 35 meters. So you have to see that you'd be pretty dang close to your turrets to actually make this thing worthwhile, and it only affects drones. So definitely a much more specific playstyle. Beyond that here, we have the nice Falcon here. Talent charges that you hold an enemy in your sights for 2 seconds. Target to be within range of the radar. Taking damage increases the charge. So you can't really do this while in the middle of a gunfight, but if you're at a little bit of a distance with a nice powerful radar on here, you can see the explosive modules on the car and increases the damage to it by 15%. I imagine that means to the explosive bits, but not to the actual car itself. We'll have to see. But definitely great for anyone utilizing cannons, autocannons, or scorpions. Definitely really great at actually poking and trying to explode those things as much as possible. Plus, then you actually get a nice little extra increase when it comes to detection radius, engine power, which I guess is for more or less speed, and then the spread movement on the weapon, so you're definitely able to get a lot tighter of a shot. So great if you're actually great at being accurate. Beyond that too, we got ourselves Atatian. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, but we'll go with it. Talent charges by dealing blast or fire damage to multiple enemies at the same time, or by hitting an enemy with at least 2 rockets from a single rocket salvo. So it's kind of expanded as to what this person can actually help with. For whatever reason, being on the screen really reduces my FPS on my face rig here. Nice. But intensely increases the damage by 10% and shell blast radius by 30%. So I wonder if this means like the explosion radius for something like the... what was that liquid fire ability that was really good for a hot second? I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but I cannot. Yes, this one. I wonder if this means for the incinerator that 33% range actually includes the like pool of fire. If that was 30% larger, ooh, that'd be great for an area of denial effect. But definitely interesting car as well. But the thing is, I love Grizzly, and it applies to a lot more situations, so that's why I'm more partial to it. If it didn't apply as often, maybe not as much, but it's either going to be this or the Billy one just for that extra damage. Or maybe it was the other one that did for the... It's really hard, though, because that extra 25% damage is a lot, and it's a very easy talent to activate. But it's also just not something that I like to do because it's not as durable. Although, to be honest, probably both would work on the Caucus build pretty well. Either way, still probably go for that Grizzly. Always love that endurance in a battle fight. Especially when it comes to a lot of parts taking a lot of damage, and I'm dealing with super large parts like this in a super large car, yeah, I'm going to need that extra bit of durability. But I think it's going to go ahead and be everything that we can really look at right now while I have the time. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the chase another time here inside the big chase season, which a lot of chase words here. But beyond that, I want to thank you all for joining this evening. If you had fun, follow what platform is your favorite. We got that YouTube, we got that Twitch, and now we also got the Discord and Twitter if you also like to notify whenever I go live. But beyond that, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Dang, son. That does sound absolutely a freaking fantastic. Ah, sexy.